Good evening, people, and welcome to Black News, Changing Our Narrative. Now, I know you are shocked to see me here. I'm shocked to be here, actually. This is not something that I usually do, but the best thing and greatest thing about having a show that's entitled Changing Our Narrative is that we can do just that. We can change and we can do things that we feel may benefit our community. Last week, the verdict came in. As the time, remember when O.J. Simpson's verdict came in, everybody remembered where they were? Well, I'm sure everybody remembers where they were last week. But, it gives us pause to think about, what did the verdict really mean to us? What does it mean to your sisters and your brothers, your uncles, your cousins, your children? So we here at Black News, Changing Our Narrative, we've done just that. We're going to change our format tonight, and we're not going to come with the news like we usually do. We're still going to come to you with the hood news and what's happening in the hood, because I think it's very important that we always remember what's going on around us. We actually will have Lexi here tonight. She will be bringing us arts and entertainment, because this week has been filled with lots of emotions. And I think it's always a good thing to be able to get out and relax, follow COVID instructions, and just get away from everything. But without further ado, again, before I bring on Kim, I just want you to know we did change our format tonight. We have some guests and people. We're going to have some honest conversations. We're going to have some courageous conversations, because you know what? That's one thing that we don't do sometimes. And I think it's important that we take the time and we address our community and what their needs may be. And as one of our guests reminded me tonight, because I'm a big proponent on therapy, she said everyone deals with their trauma differently. And I get that. So tonight, hopefully you get something out of this just by being able to talk. So I know you want to know what's happening in the hood. So I'm going to bring Kim in, I think. One moment. Here we go. Hey, Kim. You see, Kim doesn't like to unmute herself. Let me see if I can help her. Hey, Kim.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful day. It's almost over. I have some good news for you all. And I'm going to
let you go.
Good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I have a lot of good news for you. I want to start off with, there's a lot of questions. There will be 3 questions on this ballot for the primary election on May 18th. A lot of people may not understand the language. There's a session called the Primary Ballot Questions, What You Need to Know series, and it just informs you and interprets the 3 questions that will be on a ballot. That day, it would be Tuesday, May 4th at 7:00 p.m. to 8:15. All you have to do is to complete a registration form or contact the host at info@partnersforprogress.wpa.org. Also, One Hood Media on April 27th, they'll be live on Facebook. That's tomorrow. And they're having a conversation with Keisha and Tammy. Keisha is a young literature Pittsburgh graduate. Tammy is the Catapult graduate. She's with Catapult Greater Pittsburgh. Also, guest would be Dan Latman. He's with the Literacy Pittsburgh. Keisha will talk about her experience in obtaining her GED and what it meant to her while earning her GED. Tammy will share her transformation about her daughter, what she witnessed about her daughter. She'll also talk about her own views of obtaining a GED and how they changed. She'll also talk about trauma and poverty. August Wilson's birthday celebration for this year. They'll be having free food, truck meals. There'll be limited quantities. It's on a first come, first served basis. 1 meal per person, and it's in person and live streaming. You don't have to RSVP. Also, as I informed you guys last week, there are a lot of judicial candidates who are running. There are 38 altogether for Court of Common Pleas judge. So there will be a series called How to Evaluate a Judicial Candidate tomorrow at 7 o'clock. That is live on Facebook, and it's a free online event. And you'll be able to obtain information about various candidates that are running. Let's see. At the banquet hall, it's called DJ Girls Quit Playing. It's a birthday bash with Webby performing from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning. This is an over 21 and over event on Friday, May 7th. Victory Banquet Hall is at 8023 Bennett Street in Homewood. I want to reiterate, last week I had informed you guys that on May 3rd is the last day to register to vote. On May 11th is the last day to apply for mail-in or civilian absentee ballots. On May 18th is the last day for the County Board of Elections to receive your voted mail-in and civilian absentee ballots. No later than 8 o'clock p.m. on the primary election day. Again, that's on May 18th. Let me tell you something, guys. On the Allegheny County Housing Authority, 301 Chartiers Avenue in McKees Rocks, PA, they're having an opening of choice voucher program. There's a waiting list for Section 8 vouchers. That's on Wednesday. It starts Wednesday from May 5th to May 7th. You must have an email address to apply. You must keep your confirmation number. It's about a lottery, and the results will be posted on May 11th. You can call these two numbers, 412-402-2407 or 412-402-2478. They'll be asking you for your demographic information, or you can also apply online at www.achsng.com. May 1st is International Workers' Day at 1 o'clock at East Liberty Presbyterian Church, 1116 South Highland Avenue. That's in East Liberty. So stay informed and see if you can attend that event for International Workers' Day. That's all I have for you this week, folks, and enjoy this beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Kim. You always come with it, and thank you for sharing everything with us.
Thank you.
I see Lexi's in the studio, but I don't know if she's quite ready yet. So you know what we're going to do? We have some young folks with us tonight. And again, this is called Changing Our Narrative. So we can take the time and we can change what we want our people to see and hear. As I stated in the beginning, tomorrow marks a week since the verdict. How did you feel? Where were you at? You know, my director gave me a little thing to read from, and it's funny, not funny, but she said, or she asked me, did I realize in 1992, almost 28 years to the day, we watched as a country as Rodney King was beat. And things haven't really changed since that time. I have a list here of different folks who have lost their lives due to police killings. Dante Wright, Micaiah Bryant, Andrew Brown. Those three happened to lose their lives right after the verdict. And I believe Micaiah lost her life during the verdict. It is a sad state of affairs. But you know, again, I'm not going to prolong this because we have some young folks with us tonight, and one wants to go back outside and play. Everybody say hi to my goddaughter, Delaney. Hi, Delaney.
Hi.
We have Elijah. Everybody say hi to Elijah.
Hello.
We have Christina. Everybody knows Christina. We have Kim coming back to us, right? And we have Adela Dixon, who happens to be a very good friend of mine. And let me see. I don't see Lexi back. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good? Okay. So Delaney, I'm gonna tell the world you happen to be my goddaughter. How you doing, baby?
I'm good.
You're good? And she also happens to be a straight A student. Come on, y'all, give it up for her. So Delaney, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Do you know who George Floyd is?
Yes.
Tell us who he is.
He was killed by cops and uh well, I'll go back to that question. I'm sorry. I forgot the rest of it.
No, what you told me
Well,
earlier.
he was
I
killed by
did tell you.
Well, you can say what you told me, and you just said what you said.
See, that's what happens when mothers get involved when their children are on live TV. But Delaney, you know who George Floyd is, right? And you know who killed him, correct? How did that make you feel?
It didn't make me feel good.
It didn't make you feel good? Why didn't it make you feel good?
Um well, it didn't make me feel good because they did it for no reason, and it was also kind of like racism, and I don't really like when that happens.
You don't like when that happens? Either do I, baby. Either do I. So, Delaney, you have three brothers. Do you ever worry about them?
Yes, I do.
I can't hear you, babe.
Yeah, I do.
You do? So, when you're by yourself and you were thinking about George Floyd, what did you think?
I thought um I was well, I was thinking. I did think that he did die because of that. And also I was thinking um so I was thinking about him, and also um I forgot what I was thinking.
That's okay. Take your time. I'm going to ask you one more question, Delaney,
Yeah.
and you can be honest. Are you afraid of the police?
Not really, and sometimes I might be, but not really. But if they like, yeah, I am kinda, and I'm not kinda. It's like in the middle.
Nothing wrong with that, baby girl. Is there anything that you want to tell everybody that's watching this episode?
Well, if we're talking about George Floyd and how he got killed, I just want to say that racism is not okay, and you shouldn't judge anyone by their skin color or anything and kill them like that. It's not important. It's not nice, and he got killed, and it's not okay.
Wow. You said a lot, baby girl. I love you.
I love you too.
And I'm going to let you go because I know you want to go outside and play. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye, Danny. Wow. Out of the mouth of babes. I think I heard her say racism is not okay. We have Elijah here. Elijah,
Hello.
how old are you?
15.
15? What school you go to?
I go to Penn Hills High School.
Okay. What grade you go in? 10th, 9th or 10th?
Ninth. I'm in ninth.
Okay. Do you know who George Floyd is?
Yes, I do.
Tell me a little about what you know, how you felt. Just tell us how you feel about everything about George Floyd.
Okay, so personally, how I feel is the fact that about the whole situation is crazy. How he's not doing nothing, and then out of nowhere he gets kneed on his neck and can't breathe. He's telling the police officer, and there's nothing happening. I didn't like that very much, to be honest. And I found it. I don't know if it's only me, but it's weird how that person who did that to him was actually working with him before all that happened. So it seemed like some type of jealousy, not only racism, but all that combined. And it seemed like he had some type of hate against him, not only because of his skin color, but maybe because something we personally don't know behind closed doors. And yeah, I found it very weird how that whole situation happened. And, yeah.
How did you feel about the verdict?
Um, I was happy. Wait, you talking about the man who killed him like going to jail or like
Yes.
yeah. But you but it's weird how he goes to jail the next day, a little girl around my age gets killed. Find it very I don't know, weird or I don't know. Something about it is just like weird to me how she dies the next day after he get going to jail and all that. It's very weird to me.
So Elijah, let me ask you this. Do you think
hmm
as Black people that we got justice?
yes and how I think I see it differently than how other people see it. People see it as yes, we got justice because the person who killed them is not gone and all that. But that's one person out of thousands of other cops that are possibly just as worse as that cop right there. So I don't really see it as justice. I just see it as one person gone, but 1,000 other people that who else need to be like gone or whatever. That's how I personally see it.
Wow. Wow. You're 15 years old.
Yes, I am.
And I think I agree with you, young man. Let me ask you this. You're 15 years old.
hmm
You're Black. You're young. Are you afraid sometimes being Black and being a male?
Yeah,
Can you tell us why?
I don't know. Maybe because I feel like me specifically being black and all that, we probably get targeted. Not saying every other race doesn't get targeted just as much, but us mainly because of our skin color, we probably get targeted a lot, just because of a lot of jealousy and a lot of I don't know, just jealousy mainly that people are very jealous of. I guess us being black or whatever, which is very weird to me. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I am very scared sometimes.
Are you afraid of the police, Elijah?
No, I am not. Honestly, I could say I'm not afraid.
You're not afraid?
I'm not afraid.
Okay. So, and it's okay not to be afraid.
hmm
Do you think, are you on like Delaney, like, you know, well, she was half and half, but you're saying you're
hmm
definitely not afraid.
Yes.
Good, good. Are you fearful for an older brother? Are you fearful for your friends?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I feel like like anything could go wrong, whether it's them getting caught doing something they're not supposed to be doing, and then it could be going like just totally out of like I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain, to be honest.
I understand.
It, yeah, it's hard to explain. But yes, I am very much scared for my friends, family, and other Black people around this earth.
And you're 15 years old.
Yes, I am.
Elijah, what could you as one person do about changing the world?
What I think could really be a big help for Black people, like as a community, one, Black people need to stop fighting against each other. That's personally what I see. We need to stop bashing each other, stop caring about this and that, which has nothing to do with if we're going to survive the next day or even wake up. I think we just all need to come together, maybe even talk, but we all need to come together and maybe talk about what we could change so that we can stop hating on each other, killing each other, and many other things. I think we just need to be one and stop hating on each other and care more.
Young man, your name is Elijah,
Hmm.
and I don't think that's by mistake. I'm going to let you go. You can stay if you want to. Remember, I
I
told you
will
that. I
stay.
don't know. You want to?
Yeah, I
All
will
right.
stay.
Okay. Woo.
I wanted to ask Elijah a question. Um, you're a beautiful young person, and
Thank you.
thank you, uh, thank you for being in yourself so fully. That's miraculous to me. Are you not afraid of the police because you've received coaching um, about how to handle police stops, or are you just unafraid because you're just walking in your rightness all the time?
Uh, mm, mm. I think I'm not afraid because yeah, I did get a lot of coaching because I grew up with a lot of mentors and all that used to teach me about what to do whenever you pulled over and stuff like that. But I think mainly because I honestly, not to sound cocky or anything, but I don't fear no man, especially if it's somebody who thinks they has higher power over me. But I fear no man, and that's just how it is. I fear no man.
Thank you, Elijah. So we need you to stay in this conversation because you have some powerful words. So we heard from the young folks. We heard from my 10-year-old goddaughter, and she left because she wanted to go back outside and she wanted to go play, which is okay. Because with the bipolar weather, you never know if she'll get another chance to get out there. But she said some things before she left. And she said, racism is not okay. 10 years old. Elijah said, Black folks need to come together and be one. No truer words were ever spoken by young folks. So, with that, I'm going to lead into, and everyone has a minute to 2 minutes. And I know that we can't bottle up people's emotions and everything like that. But because of time and because of where we're going, we want to keep our answers to 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. So, Elijah, I'm going to mute you. So, if you need to speak, just unmute. So, everybody, how are you feeling today compared to last Tuesday? We'll start with Christina. Unmute yourself.
I'm something of an Afro pessimist, and so, or not Afro, I'm an Afro realist. And so last week, I viewed it as a sacrifice that they made to, they sacrificed this one so that they wouldn't have to address the larger issues. I feel like it was a strategic move on their behalf for him to be able to come back guilty. I'm still waiting for the sentencing. We all know what happens with sentencing. We've seen it too many times with white men. We saw it with Brock Turner when he was a white man in America and ended up spending like a month in jail I don't know if you remember who Brock Turner was. He was the white man who raped a woman. And they were so concerned about his future that they allowed him to just spend a month in county and call it that. That's how white men get treated. I've seen them bring in losing his name, all of their names, all these white boys who go out there with guns, and they apprehend them safely by the McDonald's on the way home, on the way to the station. So no, I was ho hum. It is another day in America, and they have handed out a piece of kibble as if we were dogs and expect us to act like we were given a feast.
Thank you. Lexi, how do you feel today compared to last Tuesday?
Last Tuesday, I couldn't be happy in that moment because I'm just like, you're congratulating someone or a system for doing their job finally. So I was just like, yes, it's nice and it's a step. I was happy for their family, but overall, we had the whole country shaking in their boots, nervous, on edge because they didn't know the possible outcome of this verdict. So that says a lot. And the fact that we're constantly dealing with this trauma, we can't even celebrate that verdict, because what happened that same day? What happened a couple of days before in Tennessee, where the officer shot himself and said the black teenage boy in high school shot him, and he shot himself and then shot the boy. So it's just like, how can we deal? How are we coping? How are we managing? How do we heal when things keep happening and they keep getting away with it? So today I feel a lot better. I had to do a lot of self-care and just detach from it all because it's just becoming overbearing. And this work it will burn you out. So I definitely had to take a step back because this is definitely different.
Thank you. Kim.
Everyone was waiting on the verdict. I was having mixed emotions. People that I talked to was having mixed emotions. I can tell you what, it felt like it was my family member in there. It felt like, I was shaking. It was very scary. It was a very scary moment because we didn't know how it was going to turn out. We didn't know if, unfortunately, this was going to turn out like all the others. So when it did happen, it was a sense of relief at the time, just at that moment, at the time. It was something to celebrate. And like I said on the last show, we have a long way to go. So at the same time, I feel a sense of relief. I was overwhelmed at the time. I did think about other parents. Michelle Kenny came to mind. How was she feeling at the time? Why couldn't she get the same justice? And I was sad for her. At the same time, rejoicing at what happened to George Floyd and his family, and just seeing his family and their reactions after the verdict. It's a lot, like Leslie said, self-care is so important. And we got a long way to go, folks. I'm ready to fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. So a lot of what everyone has said, I felt too. The difference between today and last week is that I actually wept when the verdict was read, not because I was joyful, but I was glad that the country would not explode. I cried for Michelle and Kara because that's the verdict they should have gotten. I cried for the ones who went before because they still should be here. So did I feel a sense of honor? No, I didn't. I felt relief. I felt relief knowing that folks wouldn't be out in the street. And that's sad. That's really sad. So I think we kind of went through another one of the questions that I was going to ask, and that was, how has it affected you personally? I think we've all been affected by it really personally. I'm going to bring in Adela and ask her. She's heard all of us talk about how we reacted, what we were doing today opposed to last Monday. And Adela, you know, you're a social worker. You've been in the social work field. Um, Come in and give us a little bit. Is it normal for all of us to be all over the place with this?
Yes. When I was listening, everyone is talking about the verdict and how they feel after the verdict. But let's back this up and let's talk about when the incident happened and all the other incidents have happened. How have we processed this? And more so with children, because they don't have a voice. They're not given a voice to process what adults are talking about. And so how you see that is in their behavior. And so because they don't know how to express it, when you're seeing things in their behavior, that behavior is taken to school, is taken outside, is taken out anywhere. And so then they get labeled as a child with issues and concerns, not even thinking about all the trauma that they have been dealing with. And so as a community, I don't think we do a very good job of processing things that happen, with having a conversation as adults, nonetheless with our children. And so it was one of those things that I always think about, is that one of the things that it seems like we're becoming desensitized to all these incidents that are happening within our community. And one of the things that we need to stop saying is, what is wrong with you, individuals, and start asking what happened to you. And letting our children have a conversation. I'm coming from that child welfare perspective, but also that we're a community and we're responsible for the children in our community. And I think that we're letting them down by not having these conversations. The whole idea of having to have a conversation with them about these incidents that are happening and how they have to react and how they have to make police officers feel comfortable. That's a conversation, that we need to have. And the other thing, the conversation that
Can I just stop you one
Yes.
second, Adela? Something that you said, and I want Elijah to weigh in on that. You said we need to have open conversations. I heard safe spaces for these young folks to process what's going on. Elijah, for you, a 15-year-old young king that is not afraid to speak his mind, that I actually believe is a true leader inside and growing, what do those conversations look like for you?
I don't know. What exactly do you mean when you what conversations about black people talking about what's going on outside of by us down to white people, or what do you mean?
I'm going to bring that into, you're a young man out here, and I know you lost a very close friend to violence. So I don't know if police shootings affect you more than killings in our community.
Okay.
So from your perspective, as a young person processing all the trauma around you, all the different things that are going on, what do those conversations, what would you like them to look like?
All right.
And regardless if it's about police or about us killing us, because that's one thing you said. You said it's time for Black people to come together and be one. So what do those conversations look from a 15-year-old mind? But I think you're well over 15 years in your mind, but okay.
I think that we should talk about what we could do to fix them situations from just not happen at all, or get them to closely stop, instead of just watching it happen and then cry about it when it comes on the news, but not doing nothing at all to actually stop and help everything become better. That's what I think. Because usually when something happens, whether it's between black and white or black on black, we see it on the news, then we start crying, but after that, after the day is over, nobody cares about it as much. It seems like everyone's just doing it just for attention and not actually trying to do something to help affect them situations from actually happening anymore.
Thank you, babe. Now, Adela, I'm going to
Okay,
come back. You heard
I
him
wanted to
say
say,
that.
I
So
wanted,
hold on, what does that conversation, what should it look like? What can it look like? And then go ahead, whatever you want. I just wanted to bring that in since he's here, because a lot of times we don't listen to the youth. But go
so,
ahead.
so that conversation we need to have that conversation even within a community when Elijah was talking about black on black crime as well as any crime whatsoever. And that comes from the community. That conversation where people close in, don't say anything, and then it just, it's just like it dissipates, where we're not having that conversation about black on black crime. And the thing that I wanted to say is that the conversation, there's two separate conversations. There's a conversation of when an individual is doing something that they're being arrested for, and the conversation when they're being arrested when they did not do anything. And I think sometimes there's these two thought processes that, okay, this person is being arrested because, okay, they were committing a crime. Okay, this person is being arrested because they didn't do anything. But really, we're not having a conversation about, okay, as Christina said, even if a person is doing something wrong, they have a right to be arrested without being killed. And that's the conversation that we kind of like, they keep it on two parallels, like doing something wrong, did not do, we should be out here marching, this person didn't do anything. But it doesn't make any difference. The conversation we should be having is with our children is that it's not right, even if that person has committed a crime, they should be arrested and not killed. And we're not having that conversation. But when you talk about forums when children are talking, it does not need to be, I don't think that it should be adults. I think it should be children talking to children. So you have Elijah, who has a voice, can advocate, can be a facilitator in those meetings. They really need to be able to have a conversation amongst themselves, because there are some things that they talk about that they don't want adults to hear.
I agree with that, Adela. And let me be the first one to say to you, Elijah, if you ever want a platform, if you ever want a space to hold any of those conversations, you give me a call and I'll make it happen for you. If you want to use my Zoom to bring some folks in privately, I just dial you up and I leave. If you need a space, we can make that happen for you too. And young man, keep your head up, because you are truly the next generation of leaders, one of them. And I'm gonna go into Lexi. She's probably the youngest one here. Um, and I'm not putting anybody's age out because I'm actually 55 and I look really, really good. But with that being said, Lexi's younger. And then with this question, I'm going to let everybody talk about it. And then we're going to close it out because, again, we don't want to be here all night, because this is a conversation we could be doing all night long. And the show is called Changing Our Narrative, Black News Changing Our Narrative. But our director thought it was very important that we come back in this week and talk about where we were as a people and where we are processing. So for me, when I asked this question to Lexi, because my answer is definitely going to be different. because I've been here 55 years and I've seen a lot of abuse, not only with police, but within ourselves in our own communities that we do to one another. And I think that's all part of a system that we've learned to treat each other bad like this. But I can go on, that's another thing. But Lexi, we've been trying to get to the promised land for a long time. Martin Luther King had a dream. Malcolm said, stand up. What does accountability from the police look like to you? Think about that. For me, it looks like simply police me the same way you police other people who are not Black. Police me the way that you police white people. Police my community the way that you police those communities. Because here's the deal. There's always going to be crime, right? It is what it is. I mean, listen, if we didn't have crime, we wouldn't have judges, we wouldn't have DAs, we wouldn't have lawyers. So come on, you see the pattern. There's always going to be crime. But when you come to my neighborhood, I shouldn't automatically think I should take my phone out because I don't want this young man or this young woman to die. Remember Sandra Bland? She was in her car driving. I smoke. They're very expensive. I'm not putting my cigarette out. It's my car. Give me my ticket. Police me the same way that somebody can go and kill 11, 12, 15 people and walk out, sit on the curb and get water. Police me like that. Police me so I don't fear for my life or my children's or my friends. That's what it looks like to me. Lexi?
You kind of took the words out of my mouth. With policing nowadays, they still look at us as, well, they still look at themselves as slave catchers instead of public safety. And our public safety has become our public enemy. So to see where we started and to see where we're coming from, y'all still have that same mindset. And like you said, the fact that people can shoot up a church or shoot up a school and they still come out alive. But I'm having a mental health crisis and you talk to these people and give them a bottle of water, what makes that any difference? And if you go and say every name, there's a list of all victims of police brutality from today all the way until the 1900s. And a lot of the reasons why these people were harmed was for mental health issues. Mental health, and a lot of us are battling with something, like everyone is dealing with something. Nobody's perfect. So it's just like, well, if I'm calling you for help and you turn against me, how am I supposed to react? I don't always have affordable access to a therapist, or I don't always know the different type of group therapies there are. But I do know 911. That's the number we're taught when we were how old? In case of an emergency. If this happens to mommy, you know your name, you know your address, and you know to call 911. So how can I call 911 when I'm seeking for help, like Micaiah Brian did, and I end up being the one that's hurt?
Thank you. Christine, same question.
Accountability looks a lot different to me. Accountability looks, I want to pick up on what Lexi was saying about policing having its origins in slave catching. The history of policing in this country has never really been about us. It has always been about controlling us. And it's for these reasons that I strongly advocate defunding the police. I think that it's important. There was a county if I'd known we were going to talk about this, I would have looked it up, but I believe it was Maryland, that defunded the police and added, it was a very small county. A number of cities have done this, where they have defunded the police and put money into social workers and therapists. And those are the first responders to mental health cries. Those are the first responders to domestic violence. The people who can actually begin the healing work need to be the ones who are on the front line, who can de-escalate, who can address the problems. You said that there will always be crime, but there will only always be crime when there is a system of inequity. There will always be crime when people can't have their needs met. There will always be crime when food and water and housing are not basic human rights. So rather than say there will always be crime, let's talk about the origins of crime and let's fix those problems. And that's a lot larger task, because it's going to take all people rising up, and it's going to take us being able to find where we connect with each other in the scale, in the realm of who is oppressed in this country. It's going to be about workers getting better rights. It's going to be about raising the minimum wage. So, and I want to pick up on what Elijah was saying. De-escalation programs. Thank you, Tracy Tra. Yes, de-escalation programs need to be in place if there is police. But the other thing I also want to talk about is when this inevitably happens, because it always happens. It has been happening.
You got about a minute, Christina.
Okay, we need to be proactive. And I personally am tired of marching in the streets and not accomplishing anything. And I feel that our best actions will be along the lines of what Elijah was talking, is we need to come in together. We need to heal when these happens. We need to have actions where we can gather and deprive them of our magnificence. We need to have actions where we come together and talk and heal, where they don't see us anymore. What would happen if all the Black people stopped showing up for work or weren't on the street and they couldn't be seen? We make their lives better and more beautiful. So when these things inevitably happen, I would like to see us turn into ourselves and find ways that we can keep building ourselves and uplifting ourselves and healing ourselves and processing this. So that's my 2 cents about accountability and what I think we should be doing.
Kim.
Microphone.
Uh-oh.
You're good now.
Okay.
You're good.
Accountability and what I think we should be doing. I think the law has to change. We keep saying it time and time and again, that the police, they get away with all the crimes continuously. It's just this one time that they were able to see Chauvin as guilty. What I'm not gathering is, how does a police officer that's supposed to serve and protect us be able to be the judge, the jury, the executioner, and the persecutor all at the same day in seconds? That has got to go. And then they get away with it. It makes me angry. It makes us angry. And it's time for us to try to change the law. Go to legislature. Write our congressmen. Write our state reps. This is where politics get involved. A lot of the state reps, politicians, they come around when it's election time. It's time to make them show their actions. What are you going to do for us? How can we change what's happening in the policing in our neighborhoods? It's time to stop. It's time for us to make it happen. Because yes, like Lexi said, it's marching in the streets. It does something a little bit, but at the end of the day, it changes nothing. until we can make policy changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. We heard a lot. And I know that we probably opened up some wounds and different things. And a friend of mine told me if I'm going to have these type of conversations, that I need to make sure that we close it back up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the little king give us some encouraging words of what he thinks accountability looks like. Then I'm going to bring Adela back in just to put the Band-Aid back over our wounds and take us out of here. Because I think it's very important that we don't leave this conversation all up in a rage again. No, I didn't say we didn't have a right to have a rage, but I don't think it's healthy to leave here. So this young man has spit some word. I shouldn't say spit. See, that's why I'm not the host. This young man has given us some stuff tonight. Oh my God. If we could get 10 Elijahs in the room, woo, woo. But Elijah, what does accountability look like to you? And what do you need us adults to do for you? And I mean,
Accountability. All right. So usually when cops kill somebody, they're not very accountable of it. They kill somebody, they go on with their day. They don't see it as if they are doing something wrong. They need to basically basically let it be known that they're doing something wrong. Because it seems like whenever they're killing somebody, they go on to the next person to kill, and they're just doing whatever they want without being held accountable for it at all. And I really think that social media is a very big problem when it comes to Black people coming together. Because when you're on social media, you always see Black people fighting against each other, and then that should, like, if it's example Black men bashing Black women saying being colorist or whatever, then you have more Black women bashing men, and then it's like everyone wants to be in the lead of whoever can bash the most or hurt the most. It's like nobody ever wants to be held accountable for anything they do wrong. It's like a big competition for everyone to, yeah, it's a big competition. I don't understand why. And I think a lot of adults, not any of y'all in here, because y'all are queens. Nothing to say about it, y'all are queens. But I think a lot of adults, they don't see they're on social media too much. They're only worried about stupid stuff. Rappers, celebrities, worried about somebody who can care less if they're dead or alive. And I think black celebrities need to speak on this project more. They're too busy worried about who can make the most money, and they're doing it for the white man in reality. Like, let's be real. They all getting money. They doing it. They sign it to these labels. They sign it to these people. But in reality, there's white men controlling them, telling them what they should do, what they should wear, how much money they're supposed to make. And it's like nobody wants to speak on it. And then when somebody speaks on it, everyone gets mad at that person for speaking out on it. And that's a big problem with our community. But we could be so much stronger, but we're too divided and want to fight against each other instead of never wanting to come together and be much better.
wow, you did my heart good. Because tonight, when I leave here, I'm not going to think about I'm going to think about how I can help you be better and how I can help you bring the youth together and how I can help you get your message out. So tonight, that's going to be my project. Young man, you are well on your way. And I want to thank you personally for coming on tonight.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just blown away by the things that you've said. Not that I'm shocked, but I always wonder, where's the next group of leaders? Wow. Wow. Thank you, Elijah. And Adela, you've heard everything here tonight. You heard the young man,
Yeah.
you've heard Christina. And where do we go from here?
It's a hard act to follow behind Elijah. I do want to say, Christina, I did, see where they have defunded the police, but I think that a conversation is, what does defund the police look like? A lot of people think that you're just going to abolish the police. They take the term defund with abolish. So when you think about that, there is a program that's called Cahoots. It's in Oregon. And what they do is they are, when you call 911, there are a rapid response team that goes out. And they have been taught all the de-escalation skills. So they know how to de-escalate situations, and they can assist the police because police are not equipped to de-escalate. That's not what they do. So when we think about the community now, when we have things that are going wrong now, we need to have emergency response teams to come out every time there is something going on, to talk to all the individuals and to assist them. The other thing that needs to occur is that for me, police need to be a part of the community. They need to live in the community that they're policing. That becomes a problem when you have police that are not a part of the community. They don't know the people or anything. They just come in and police them. The other thing I do want to say is that because it's so a lot, we haven't talked about therapy per se here, but there are times that therapy is important to deal with grief. A lot of times that kids don't have an opportunity, or adults have an opportunity to deal with the grief that they are experiencing. And I had said this a little bit earlier, is that while everybody is not affected by trauma the same way. So everybody doesn't necessarily have to have therapy, but there need to be that processing, as in the emergency response teams, where you can have an open forum where people can talk with individuals about what things are going on. And I would like to say that we need to have more young people like Alexis and Elijah have a platform to talk to adults and to talk to their peers as well, because they have said a mouthful. They are very, very good at facilitating a conversation. And I think that that would be some of the things that I would suggest.
Thank you, Adela. You know, like I said, it gave me hope. I know Lexi. She's my niece, and she's been out here. She's been doing it. So I've had different conversations with her, but I never had a conversation with Elijah like this. And I'm telling you, I am so proud of you, young man. Keep your head up. Lexi, you keep your head up. You are the next generation. We're going to be here fighting with you, but you guys are definitely the next generation. I want to thank all of you for coming in tonight. I don't want to leave us in just like that. We still have grinding the axe. And I said before, you know, when we're dealing with trauma or not trauma, or you don't know how to process different things, it's nice to get out, right? It's nice to enjoy different things. So with that being said, I want to thank all of you again for coming, talking tonight. I'm going to bring Lexi in. She's going to do arts and entertainment. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to have Christina come back with grinding the axe. Thank all of you so much. Elijah, I'll be talking to you. I think I want you to become part of this newscast. What do you guys think? I think it's time that we start to hear from our youth. Would you agree? Everybody can say yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. Fabulous.
Thank you all again. And right now, I'm leaving the studio. You're going to be with Lexi. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Lexi.
Hey.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're trying to host and do them. Yeah. Okay, you're on, Lex.
Hello, hey, all my beautiful kings and queens. Welcome to Arts and Entertainment, where we move with the groove. As always, thank you for tuning in to Black News, changing our narrative. Let's get into some Black excellence, shall we? As many of you know, science is an art. cells, genetics, medicine, and more. Can we groove to twin Black sisters making history as first-generation doctors in their family? Doctors Brittany and Brandy Jackson working together at the same hospital in Chicagoland. Let's give it up for them. Moving on over to some Smarties. A young actress from Mixed-ish and Disney's Casey Undercover, Trinity Stokes, is starting college at 14 years old. She is yet to reveal her college of choice, but she said she will most likely be studying political communications with a minor in public diplomacy. Sis also skipped second grade and took college classes in middle school. Hashtag Black Girls Rock. Grooving on over to the Oscars, we opened with our lovely Regina King's Power Walk. Daniel Kaluuya won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Judas and the Messiah. He most definitely should have got one for his role in Get Out. That was a bit trippy, and him mentioning his mom's intimacy during his speech will definitely put him in the sunken place or over her knee for sure. Oh, let's talk about the outrage of the late, great Chad Boseman. May he rest. Many believe that he was robbed of the posthumous Best Actor, and I agree. They don't give him enough credit, especially when he was battling cancer while filming Avengers / Black Panther. If that doesn't scream strong Black man, put some respect on his name. Now, I'm not wheezy, but moving on up to our weekly challenge, let's tackle a task you keep pushing off. Spring cleaning is here. It's time to straighten things up. Can you move to that groove? I guess we'll find out next week. Make sure you're following COVID-19 restrictions, social distance, mask up, and shield up. Wash those hands and enjoy this long overdue weather to shake off that seasonal depression. Peace out.
Thank you, Lexi. That's I agree with you on the Oscars. But you mentioned spring cleaning, and I just want to let everyone know Adela Dixon, that was in the studio with us, does have a company that she does on the side. I believe it's Norwick's. So get with her to get those nice cleaning products that won't kill you as you inhale them. Thank you, Alexis. It's always good to see you.
Thanks. It's good to see you too.
Okay, people, we're going to take a 30-second break. The next face that you see will be Christina Springer. Now, if you know, like I know, you do not want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to Black News Changing Our Narrative. I'm going to wrap up the show today. My name is Christina Springer, and this is Grinding the Axe. I'm here tonight grinding my axe about the Black mothers of slain children, whether by extrajudicial execution or racist aggression. I'm here to bear witness for Ma'Khia Bryant's mother, for Freddie Gray's mother, the way they trotted her out in the streets as a peacekeeper for the Deathbringers. For all the mothers asked to keep the peace after the violence which robbed them of their dreams, their hope, and their children. I'm here for Ms. Hollingsworth, a deaf mother whose 11-year-old children were forced to translate for her because the officers handcuffed her and wouldn't take off their masks so she could read their lips. I'm here to talk about how our sitting president still does not yet understand that our lives are more valuable than property. About the way in which Kadiatou Diallo, Valerie Bell, Sabrina Fulton, Samira Rice, Michelle Kinney, Danielle Brown, and all the mothers of slain Black children had the power to control the way their souls detonated that day, controlled the way their souls detonate the fuse in every conscious person. The way the flaming particles of their spirit which must have been begging God to do it, just burn every damn thing to the ground. And yet they come out with dignity. There is a part of every Black mother whose every dead child wants to snatch the hearts out of their child's murderer and feed it to their families. There is a part of every Black mother of every dead child who would send assassins in the night to peel the skin off of her child's murderers, make lampshades out of it, and use their teeth as beaded trim. There is a part of every Black mother of every dead child who knows the oblivious can only be abused out of their ignorance. Instead, they incite hunger for systematic change. And this is one of the things that is so powerful about Black mothers. This is the truth. In Baltimore, in Minneapolis, in Cleveland, in New York, in Texas, in LA, all across, in Pittsburgh, all across the world, their weeping, screeching souls have been heard by only the decent and moral. And only the decent and moral have been activated to call for change to these systems which continue to oppress us. I want you to bear witness to the violence done to the mothers of dead Black sons and daughters. I want you to know that the mothers of Black children live in a constant state of gathering up the ocean. I want you to think about how stoic Black mothers seem, how pulled together, how grim and determined. I want you to think about the ways we make when there are none. I want you to think about the way we can hurricane an unjust teacher, the way we can turn the circle of our arms into heaven. I want you to think about how busy white people make us with their demands for respectability, how unnatural they make us, how natural we are, Black mothers, how supernatural we are, Black mothers. But more than that, think about how Black mothers are forced to apologize, how we're always asked to apologize for allowing our children to wake up in the morning inside of our home and get shot. We apologize for allowing them to go to sleep in our homes and get shot. We apologize for allowing them to put food in their bodies and get shot. We apologize for buying them clothing and get shot. We apologize for letting them get an education and get shot. We apologize for letting them go swimming and get abused by police. We apologize for letting them drive a car and get shot. We apologize for letting them celebrate and get shot. We apologize every news cycle. We apologize for allowing them to make it here to this planet Earth, grow up just the smallest amount, and bring the light of their life. We shame mothers for having a biological directive to ensure our genetic material is passed on. We shame mothers for having instincts. We apologize for bringing Black children into the world. And we apologize for yelling at God when they don't come home because they made eye contact with the wrong white person or were mesmerized by a particularly vivacious cloud at sunset and some white person didn't like that, or looking at birds in the park and somebody white person didn't like that, for seeing the color purple in a field and some white person not liking that, or just daring to protect themselves from violence. Black mothers are not animals or robots. And so we will make no more apologies. It's time for society to begin apologizing to us by making it right. Defund the police, universal basic income, raise the minimum wage, thwart gentrification, make housing, proper nutrition, and clean water a human right. And I want some reparations on that cake. There are so many other ways to apologize. Pick one or all of them. Do it or don't. But I will tell you, the prayers of Black mothers for justice are always answered. Whether we see it happen or are not gifted this pleasure, the prayers are answered. It may happen over 7 generations or 3. It may happen in the middle of the night as our ancestors suck the marrow from their bones and deprive them of rest. but it will happen. Regardless, Black mothers will keep gathering the ocean. Regardless, Black mothers will keep calling the hurricane. Regardless, we will keep inviting the fire. We will keep shaking the earth. We will keep on keeping on. And there is nothing any white person can ever do about any of that. The axe is sharp. Go cut some wood. Have a good night.